the Queen's command, the human soldier was dragged across the shining floor of the alien palace. His wrists were tied with chains that glowed faint blue, burning his skin every time he struggled. 2 alien guards pulled him forward. They're tall. Bodies moved like shadows, their armor alive with strange lights dot at the end of the hall. On a throne made of black crystal sat the alien queen. Her eyes glowed gold, her long crown shaped like fire frozen in metal. The hall was silent. Every alien bowed low, but the human stood straight, even in chains. He had survived battles. He had seen friends fall. At this moment felt heavier than all of that. He was the last human prisoner from the war. And now he stood before the one who had destroyed countless worlds, the alien queen herself. The queen raised her hand. The guards stopped. The burning chains cut into his arms as he was forced to kneel. Human, the queen's voice echoed, sharp as glass. Your kind has fought well, but you are finished. Your armies are broken. You are nothing but a relic of a dying race. The soldier looked up, his jaw tight. He did not answer. His silence was his defiance. The queen leaned forward. Do you know why I spared you? For the first time, he spoke. His voice was rough. From weeks in the prison cells. Because killing me would make me a martyr. The queen smiled, but it was cold. No, I spared you because I have a task for you. A murmur filled the hall. The aliens whispered in their strange tongue. What task could a human serve? Why not simply kill him? The queen stood. Her crown glowed as she pointed to the far side of the hall. A tall door opened, and a figure stepped out. She was unlike the queen. Her skin was pale silver, her eyes softer, not glowing but deep and calm. She wore a robe of white silk that shimmered as she moved. She looked young, almost fragile. Yet there was strength in her steps. The princess, the guards whispered. The queen's daughter. The soldier's eyes locked with hers for a moment. She didn't look away. She studied him, quiet, like someone reading a secret. The queen's voice thundered. You will live with her. The hall went silent. The soldier frowned. What? You heard me, human, the queen said. From this day, you will stay in my daughter's quarters. You will not leave her side. You will eat. When she eats, sleep when she sleeps. You are bound to her life. The soldier's hands tightened in the chains. Was this punishment? A cage in silk? Or something darker? He looked at the princess again. She did not smile. She did not turn away. Her eyes carried something strange loneliness, maybe sorrow. Why? He asked. The queen's smile returned, sharper than before, because fate demands it. The guards pushed him forward, closer to the princess. The soldier's heart pounded. He expected her to turn away in disgust, but instead she stepped closer. She whispered, so soft only he could hear, You are not safe here. Before he could answer, the queen's voice cut through the air again. Do not forget, human. If you touch her without permission, if you speak words I do not allow, if you attempt escape, your life ends instantly. My guards will tear you apart before you take a single breath of freedom. The soldier stayed silent, but inside his mind burned with questions. Why make him stay with her? Why risk her own daughters? Safety with a human enemy? The chains loosened. The guards unlocked his wrists, though their weapons were ready to strike. He rubbed the burned skin. The queen's final words thundered like a hammer. You are her shadow now. Remember your place. The princess turned and walked through the tall doors. The soldier followed, his steps heavy, his thoughts darker than dawn. Any prison cell he had ever known. Behind him, the queen sat again on her throne, watching. Her golden eyes glowed brighter, as if she saw a path of fate only she understood. The doors closed, and the soldier found himself in a new world luxury. Halls of silk curtains, glowing lamps, and strange perfumes. Yet none of it felt safe. He was not free. He was not honored. He was trapped in a golden cage with the daughter of his enemy. The princess stopped in front of him. She studied his face for a long moment. Then she spoke, her voice calm, almost human-like. You survived the war. But can you survive my mother's game? The soldier didn't answer. He only stared back, knowing one truth deep in his heart. This was not the end of his fight. It was the beginning. The princess in the shadows, the first night in the alien palace, felt like a trap wrapped in silk dot. The human soldier was given a chamber beside the princess's own room. The walls were carved with glowing patterns, alive with shifting colors. A soft bed waited for him, covered in silver fabric finer than anything he had seen before. Food was placed on a golden tray, strange fruits, glowing wine, and meat that steamed with spices. But he did not eat. He sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the door. Guards stood outside. Their shadows moved under the crack of light. Never. Leaving Dot, he was free of chains, but not free at all. Dot, hours passed. The palace grew quiet. The lights dimmed as if the walls themselves were sleeping. The soldier lay awake, every muscle tense. He expected a blade in the dark or poison in his drink. He heard it. A voice, soft, broken, coming from the other side of the wall. That it was not the alien language, that it was human. Hello? The soldier froze. He turned his head. The sound was faint, like a whisper carried through stone. He pressed his ear against the wall. Who is there? He whispered back. There was silence. Then the same voice, trembling but clear. You understand me? Human words? His blood ran cold. The voice belonged to the Princess Dot. He pressed harder against the wall. How? How? Do you know my language? There was a pause. Then she answered, I studied, in secret, for many years. Books, old recordings. My mother does not know. The soldier's jaw tightened. Why would the alien princess learn his people's tongue? Why? He asked. Her voice grew softer, almost sad. Because I wanted to understand the ones we fought, the ones she fears. The soldier leaned back, staring at the ceiling. The queen feared humans? She had crushed their armies, broken their fleets. What was there to fear? The princess spoke. Again, you must be careful. My mother does not keep you near me out of kindness. She has a reason. A secret. Suspense twisted in the soldier's chest. Then tell me, what reason? But she did not answer. Instead, he heard footsteps in the hall. The shadows of guards shifted again. The princess's voice vanished into silence. The soldier sat in the darkness, his mind racing. A queen with secrets. A princess who spoke his tongue. A palace that felt more like a prison than a gift. The next day, the soldier walked beside the princess under the watch of 4 guards. They moved through gardens of glowing flowers and pools of silver water. The air smelled sweet, but he tasted only danger. The princess spoke to him, but only in her language now, her voice calm and empty for the guards to hear. She asked simple questions. Did he sleep well? Did he eat? Did he find the palace strange? But her eyes told another story. When the guards looked away, she flicked her gaze at him, sharp and filled with meaning. When they entered the dining hall, the soldier sat at a long table. The queen's shadow loomed at the far end. Her golden eyes burned as she watched him take his first bite. The food was rich. Too rich. His instincts screamed at him. He put down the spoon. A guard sneered. Eat. Show respect. The soldier looked at the princess. She gave the faintest shake of her head, so small, only he could see it. His chest tightened. Poisoned out, he pushed the tray away. I am not hungry. The queen's smile was sharp. Suspicion will keep you alive, human, but suspicion will not make you free. That night, the soldier sat in his chamber again. He could not rest. His head spun with questions. Why poison him if the queen wanted him alive? Why keep him with the princess at all? Then, once again, a whisper came through the wall. You were right not to eat, the princess said in broken human words. The kitchen belongs to my mother, not me. The soldier closed his eyes. He had no allies here, no one to trust, except maybe her. Why are you helping me? He asked. For a long time, there was silence. He thought she had gone. Then her voice returned, soft as a secret. Because I am not my mother. The soldier sat frozen. In that moment, he understood one thing. The princess was trapped, just as he was. And maybe, just maybe, she needed him as much as he needed her. But outside their rooms, in the endless halls of the palace, the guards kept their watch. And above them all, the alien queen sat on her black crystal throne, her golden eyes glowing, waiting for the moment when fate itself would move. The soldier whispered into the silence, "This is only the beginning." And the palace walls, cold and alive, seemed to whisper back. Secrets in the palace was a maze. Long halls twisted like rivers of stone. Strange statues watched with empty eyes. The soldier felt the walls themselves were alive, breathing, whispering. Days passed, but he was never free. Guards followed everywhere. A princess walked beside him, always silent in front of him, but her eyes carried hidden messages. One night, when the moon of their world burned red through the crystal windows, the soldier woke with a heavy feeling. In his chest, something was calling him. A pull, deep in the stone. He rose quietly, careful not to wake the guards outside his door. The palace halls glowed faint blue, empty and endless. He followed the call. The path led him to an old wing of the palace, where dust covered the walls. Here the light was dim, the silence heavy. He pushed open a door and froze. Inside was a chamber filled with carvings. Stone walls were covered with scenes of war. Not alien against alien, but humans. Humans fighting side by side with the queen's ancestors. The soldier stepped closer, his heart pounding. He saw humans with swords, humans with armor, humans standing shoulder to shoulder with alien warriors. In the carvings, they were not enemies. They were allies. At the center of the wall was the strangest carving of all. A human man holding hands with a woman who wore the alien crown. Above them, a symbol burned. A sun split into two halves, one human, one alien. What is this? He whispered. A voice spoke behind him. You are not supposed to find this. He spun around, ready to fight, but it was not a guard. It was the princess. Her silver robe shimmered in the dim light. She stepped closer, her eyes not cold but heavy with sorrow. You should not be here, she whispered. If my mother knew. The soldier pointed at the carvings. Why are humans here? Why do your people hide this? The princess looked at the wall for a long time, as if her soul was trapped inside the stone. Then she spoke, her human words. Broken but clear enough, because of the prophecy. The soldier's jaw tightened. What prophecy? She turned to him, her eyes glowing faint with reflected moonlight. Long ago, humans and my people fought together. But it ended. My mother believes the prophecy will return, that a human will come and change the throne forever. His chest grew tight. And she thinks I am that human? The princess nodded slowly. Why else keep you alive? Why else? Place you at my side? The soldier's mind raced. The queen feared him, but not for what he was now, for what he might become. A symbol, a spark. The princess lowered her voice, trembling. You must be careful. The palace itself listens. My mother has eyes in every wall. Before he could answer, Footsteps echoed in the hall. Guards. The princess grabbed his arm and pulled him into the shadows of the chamber. For the first time, her hand touched his skin warm, trembling. The guards walked past the door, their armor clattering. One paused, looking inside. The soldier held his breath, hand on the knife he had stolen days before. But the guard turned away and left. The sound of their steps faded into silence. The princess let go of him, but her eyes stayed locked on his. "If you keep searching, they will kill you." The soldier shook his head. "No, if I stop searching, I am already dead." Her lips trembled, as if she wanted to say something more. But instead, she stepped back. "Return to your room." "Do. Not come here again." She turned and left, her white robe vanishing into the hall like a ghost. The soldier looked back at the carvings one last time. The human, the crowned woman, the broken sun. Fate was moving, and he was standing in the middle of it. He touched the wall where the human was carved, his fingers tracing the stone lines. "Secrets," he whispered. "This palace is full of secrets, and I will find them all." But as he turned to leave, a faint glow lit up in the carvings, as if the stone itself had awakened. The human figure shimmered with faint light, and the alien crown above him burned for a moment before fading. The soldier froze. His breath caught. The wall had answered his touch, and in that moment, he knew the prophecy was real. The forbidden bond. The soldier could not forget the carvings. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw them, the human standing beside the crowned alien woman, the broken sun glowing above their heads. The palace wanted him to see. Fate was pulling him deeper into something he could not escape. The next day, he was once again beside the princess. Guards followed them everywhere, like shadows, chained to their steps. They moved through gardens where flowers sang in strange tones, through halls where golden light poured from crystal windows. To the guards, it was nothing. To him, it was a cage painted with beauty. When no one was close, the soldier leaned toward the princess and whispered in his rough voice, "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Her eyes shifted to him, calm but full of warning. "Because speaking truth is dangerous here." He narrowed his eyes. "Then why help me at all?" The princess walked slowly, her silver robe brushing the ground. She did not answer immediately. Finally, she whispered back, "Because I cannot fight my mother alone." The soldier froze. Her words cut through him like a blade. The queen's daughter, against the queen herself. That night, the soldier could not sleep. He sat on the floor of his chamber, his back against the wall that separated him from her. The silence between them felt alive. And then her whisper came again. "You are still awake?" He leaned closer, speaking low. "Yes." She was quiet for a long time before she asked, "What was it like?" "Earth?" His chest tightened. He had not spoken that name aloud in years. The memory was a wound that never healed. "Earth," he said slowly, "was home. Blue skies, oceans wider than any palace, forests where the wind carried the scent of rain. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours." The princess's voice trembled. "I have never seen the ocean. My mother keeps me here. She says the galaxy beyond these walls is poison." The soldier let out a bitter laugh. "No, it's not poison. It's freedom." There was silence. Then she whispered, almost like a child, "Tell me more." So he did. He spoke of mountains capped with snow, deserts glowing red at sunset, cities alive with light and noise. For the first time since his capture, his voice softened. And on the other side of the wall, she listened, silent and hungry for every word. Hours passed. At last, her voice grew faint. "If the prophecy is true, if you are the one, then maybe you can show me that world." The soldier clenched his fists. "Prophecy or not, I don't serve your mother. I don't serve her lies. But if you truly want freedom, then maybe, one day, I'll show you what it means. The silence that followed was heavy, but not empty. For the first time, he felt a strange connection, fragile, dangerous, but real. The next morning, everything changed. The Queen summoned him to her throne room. The guards dragged him through the black crystal halls until he stood once more under her burning golden gaze. "You have grown close to my daughter," the Queen said. The soldier's jaw tightened. He said nothing. The Queen smiled coldly. "Good, that is exactly what I want." Her words struck like fire. He expected punishment. Instead, she seemed pleased. "Soon," she said, "you will understand your role and fate. But know this: if you betray her, you will beg for death, and I will deny you even that." The soldier glared back. "And if I don't play your game?" The Queen leaned forward, her voice low, sharp as a knife. "Then she dies with you." His heart stopped. The Queen was not protecting her daughter. She was using her as bait in a game far larger than either of them. That night, the soldier returned to his chamber, his body heavy, but his mind burning. The princess whispered through the wall again. What did she say? He hesitated. He did not want to tell her, but she deserved the truth. "She knows," he said. "She knows we speak. She wants me close to you. She wants something from us, something tied to that prophecy." The silence stretched long. Then her voice came, breaking like glass. "Then we are both prisoners, bound by her game." The soldier pressed his hand against the wall, though he knew she could not feel it. "No, we are more than prisoners. We are all eyes now." For a long time, neither spoke. The palace hung around them, alive with secrets. Finally, her whisper came, soft and dangerous. "If we are allies, then promise me one thing." "What?" he asked. "That you will not let her win." The soldier's jaw tightened. His voice was a growl. "I promise." And though the guards stood outside, though the palace listened, though the Queen's golden eyes burned like fire, in the dark something new was born between them that night. Not just survival, not just prophecy, a forbidden bond. Shadows of rebellion. The days that followed were heavy with silence. The soldier walked through the palace gardens, halls and crystal chambers, but every step felt like a blade at his back. Guards watched him. Servants whispered. Even the air itself felt like it carried the Queen's golden eyes. Yet in the shadows, a quiet fire began to grow. The princess no longer spoke to him, only at night. Now, when the guards looked away, she gave him small signs, tiny nods, secret glances, the curve of her hand to point at doors the guards thought were locked. She was guiding him, slowly, carefully. One evening, she led him down a path that twisted away from the main halls. The guards followed, but kept their distance, believing the path harmless. When no one was close, she whispered in broken human words, "Tonight, when the moon turns red, meet me by the old gate." Before he could answer, she stepped forward, her face cold and calm again, hiding her words. That night, he waited until the guards outside his chamber grew bored, their armor clattering as they whispered about wine and women. He moved silently, slipping into the shadows of the palace. The halls glowed faint blue, the light of a sleeping beast. He followed the memory of her words, his heart beating like war drums. At last, he found the old gate. It was half buried in stone, hidden behind vines of silver roots. The air smelled damp and cold. She was already there. The princess wore a cloak of dark fabric, her golden hair hidden beneath its hood. She looked less like a royal and more like someone running from chains. "You came," she whispered. "I said I would," he replied. Her eyes glowed faint in the moonlight. "Then come. There is something you must see." She pulled the gate open. The stone groaned like a dying creature. Together they stepped into the darkness beyond. The tunnel was narrow, damp, and alive with echoes. Strange markings covered the wall's symbols older than the palace itself. The air grew colder the deeper they went. At last, the tunnel opened into a cavern lit by crystals that burned with soft red fire. And there, in the shadows, stood others. The soldier froze. Alien figures stepped forward, 3 men, 2 women, their faces hidden under hoods. Their eyes glowed faint like the princess's, but their gazes burned with anger, not pride. "These are the forgotten," the princess said softly. "My mother cast them out because they dared to question her rule." The tallest of them pulled back his hood. His face was scarred, his jaw tight with years of rage. "So this is the human." The soldier's hand moved toward the knife at his side. "Who are you?" "We are what remains of honor," the man said. "The queen has ruled too long. Her power is poison. And you may be the cure." The soldier's eyes narrowed. "Why do you think that?" The scarred man stepped closer, pointing at the princess. "Because she brought you, and because the prophecy speaks of a human who will break her chains." The soldier growled low. "Prophecies don't win wars. People do." The scarred man gave a thin smile. "Then perhaps you are exactly what we need." The princess lowered her hood, her voice steady but full of pain. "I brought you here because I cannot fight her alone. My mother controls the palace, the guards, the army. But here, in the shadows, there are still those who resist." The soldier looked at the forgotten. Their faces were hard, their bodies warm from hiding, but their eyes carried fire. For the first time since his capture, he saw something dangerous inside this palace. Hope, but hope was a dangerous thing. "If we do this," the soldier said slowly, "then understand this: I am not your savior. I am not your prophecy. If we fight with steel, with blood, with fire, not with whispers of fate." The scarred man nodded. "Then we fight." The princess stepped closer to the soldier, her voice soft but sharp. "If my mother learns of this, she will kill us all. We must move carefully. We must strike only when the moment is right." The soldier's hand tightened around his knife. His eyes burned in the red crystal light. "Then we wait," he said. "But when the moment comes, we burn the throne to ash." The cavern filled with silence. Then the forgotten bowed their heads. The princess looked at him, her eyes shining with something he had not seen before. Not just fear, not just sorrow, but trust. And as they stood there in the red glow, surrounded by rebels and secrets, Soldier knew one thing. The queen had made a mistake. By forcing him to stay with her daughter. She had given him an ally, and perhaps an army. The queen's trapped the soldier, had tasted something new, rebellion. The forgotten gave him hope, but hope was dangerous inside the queen's palace. Every step he took now felt heavier. Every word he spoke carried risk. One wrong move, and everything would collapse. The princess hid her fear well, but he noticed. Her hands shook slightly when guards passed too close. Her voice cracked when her mother's name was spoken. Yet she stood beside him, keeping the secret alive. But the queen was not blind. She summoned him again. The throne room was brighter than before, as if the walls themselves were alive with fire. The queen sat tall on her black throne, her golden eyes burning with strange hunger. "You walk these halls like you belong," she said, her voice sharp and smooth. "Tell me, human, have you forgotten you are my prisoner?" The soldier stood straight, his jaw tight. "Prisoner or not, I survive. That's what humans do." The queen's lips curled. "Good. Survival is a useful trait. But there is more to life than surviving. There is loyalty. There is obedience." Her eyes narrowed, and her voice grew cold. "Tell me, are you loyal to me?" The chamber fell silent. Guards tightened their grip on their weapons. Servants froze like statues. The soldier knew this was no simple question. This was a trap. If he said yes, she would not believe him. If he said no, his life and the princess's would be forfeit. He answered carefully, "I am loyal to survival. And if survival means obeying you, then I obey." The queen's golden eyes glowed brighter. She studied him long, searching for cracks in his voice. Finally, she smiled thinly. "Very well, then you will prove it." She clapped her hands. A guard dragged a man into the chamber in Old Alien. Beaten, bleeding, his robes torn. His face was thin, but his eyes blazed with quiet defiance. The soldier recognized him. One of the forgotten. His chest tightened. The queen rose from her throne, her voice loud and sharp. "This traitor plotted against me. He whispers lies in the dark. If you are loyal human, then kill him now." The hall grew silent. All eyes fell on him. The soldier's hand went to the knife at his side. His heart pounded like thunder. The old man looked at him, not with fear, but with calm. The queen's trap was clear. If he killed the rebel, he would betray the forgotten and the princess. If he refused, he would expose his secret alliance. The princess stood beside the throne, her face pale. She dared not speak, but her eyes wide, desperate, begged him not to give in. The soldier stepped forward. He gripped the knife, staring down at the old man. Then he looked up at the queen. "You want me to kill him?" He growled. "Yes," the queen said, her smile cruel. "Show me your loyalty." The soldier raised the knife. For a long moment, the hall was silent. Guards leaned forward, eager to see blood. The queen's eyes glowed like suns. And then he moved. The blade slashed downward, but not at the rebel. Instead, he turned it fast, cutting the chains that bound the old man's wrists. The hall exploded with shouts. Guards rushed forward, weapons drawn. The soldier spun, driving his fist into the nearest guard's face. The old man stumbled free. The queen rose in fury, her voice like fire. "Seize him! Seize them both!" The soldier fought like a storm. He stole a guard's blade, his movements fast and brutal. The old man struggled beside him, weak but determined. The princess cried out, stepping forward, but guards blocked her path. Her eyes burned with fear as the soldier was surrounded. He cut through 2 guards, but more came. The old man fell to his knees, bleeding. The soldier grabbed his arm, dragging him toward the door. But then the queen raised her hand. A wave of golden energy blasted across the hall, slamming into the soldier and the rebel. They were thrown to the ground, their weapons clattering away. The queen's golden eyes burned with triumph. "Foolish human! Did you think you could outplay me?" Guards pinned the soldier, pressing his face into the stone. The old man was dragged away, coughing blood. The queen leaned close, her voice cold as ice. "Now I see the truth. You are not loyal. You are dangerous, and that makes you useful." The soldier spat blood onto the floor, glaring up at her. "You'll regret keeping me alive." The queen only smiled, her golden eyes burning brighter. "Perhaps, but for now, you live. Because fate is not done with you yet." The guards dragged him away, chains clattering against stone. The princess's eyes followed him, wide with fear and sorrow. And in that moment, he understood the truth. The queen already knew. The rebellion was no longer a secret. The final turn chains bit into his wrists. The soldier knelt in the dungeon, the stone floor cold beneath him. Blood dripped from his mouth, his body bruised from the queen's fury. Yet his spirit, his human spirit, did not break out above. Palace groaned with tension. Whispers of rebellion moved through the halls like smoke. The queen thought she had crushed it, but she had only poured oil onto the fire. The door creaked out. The princess slipped inside, her cloak pulled tight around her. Her eyes were red from crying, but her voice was steady. "You should not be alive." She whispered, "My mother wanted to kill you, but she keeps you breathing because she thinks you are fate's weapon. She wants to use you." The soldier lifted his head, chains rattling. "And what do you think?" Her voice broke. "I think you are hope." She pressed a small dagger into his hands, her fingers trembling. "The forgotten are ready. Tonight, when the bells ring, they will strike, but without you, they will fail. My mother's power is too strong." The soldier tightened his grip on the blade. His eyes burned. "Then we cut off the head of the snake." The princess hesitated. "If we do this, there is no return. My mother will not forgive. She will not stop." The soldier smiled grimly. "Then neither will I." The bells rang out. The palace shuddered with fire and steel. Rebels poured from hidden tunnels, blades flashing, voices rising like thunder. Guards clashed with them, the halls filling with screams and blood. The queen rose from her throne, her golden eyes blazing. "Fools," she thundered. "You dare raise arms against me?" She stretched her hands, and waves of golden energy roared across the chamber, throwing rebels against the walls. Yet more came, fighting with desperate courage. The soldier stormed into the throne room, chains still hanging from his wrists, dagger in hand. The princess followed, her cloak falling away, her eyes shining with defiance. The queen's face twisted with fury. "You!" The soldier's voice was steel. "Me," he charged. The queen unleashed a blast of energy, but he rolled aside, the wave cracking stone where he had stood. He leapt forward, slashing with his dagger. Sparks burst as the blade met her shield of light. The princess cried out, rushing to his side. "Together!" She raised her hands, her own light breaking free. For the first time, she fought against her mother. Her golden energy clashed with the queen's, the throne room exploding in fire and light. The rebels pushed through the guards, filling the chamber. The scarred leader of the forgotten shouted, "Strike her down!" The queen screamed, her power shaking the palace. She knocked rebels aside like leaves in a storm. Her gaze locked on the soldier. "You are nothing," she roared. "A human insect crawling in my halls." The soldier rose, blood dripping down his face. His voice cut through. "The chaos. Maybe I'm nothing to you. But to them," he pointed at the rebels, at the princess, "I'm everything you fear." With a roar, he lunged. The dagger drove forward, breaking through her shield. The blade pierced her chest. The queen's eyes widened, golden light spilling from her mouth in a silent scream. The throne room shook, cracks racing across the walls. Princess caught her as she fell, tears streaming down her face. "Mother!" The queen's last breath came as a whisper, half curse, half sorrow. "Fate betrayed me." Then the light in her eyes died. The throne room fell silent. The guards dropped their weapons. The rebels stood frozen. The queen was dead. The princess slowly rose, her face pale but strong. She looked at the soldier, her eyes full of pain and fire. "The throne is empty," she said softly, "and the future is ours to choose." The rebels knelt before her, voices whispering, "Queen, Queen." But she shook her head. "No, I will not rule like my mother. We will rule together." Her eyes met the soldier's. "Human, you came here as a prisoner, but you leave as something more. A brother in arms, a savior, a friend." The soldier sheathed the bloodied dagger. He looked at the broken throne, then back at the rebels. "I didn't come here to rule," he said. "I came here to survive. But if survival means standing with you, then I'll stand." The rebels roared with approval. The palace walls shook, not with fear this time, but with hope that the princess stepped closer, her voice low but steady. Fate took a wild turn the day you entered this palace. Maybe it was not fate at all. Maybe it was choice. The soldier gave a thin smile. Then let's choose to make a better world. And with that, the war ended not with chains, not with crowns, but with fire, blood, and the spark of a new beginning. *The end.